All right, lesson 8.3, part 2. We're going to focus more so on the graphing part of, uh, of the circle. So we're going to, I know in a couple of the other examples we already graphed it, but now we're going to focus on graphing it. So using the equations that we already have to graph what our circle would look like. So the first thing, or one of the main things to do, is we got to find the center, and we need to find the radius. Because once you know the center and you know the radius, it's pretty simple to draw the actual circle. So if we have our equation here, x minus 4 squared plus y plus 2 squared equals 4, pretty simple to break down the center and the radius. Center, remember from our equation, it's x minus h and y minus k. So if it's x minus h, means our center is going to be, or the x value is going to be at 4. Which then also means if we have y plus 2, that's the same as saying y minus negative 2 squared, this piece here. So that means our k value is actually negative 2. So that's where our center is going to be. Now, if we're looking for our radius, remember this piece here, 4, equals r squared. So how do we find r from there? We just take the square root of both sides, which means then that 2 is our radius. So we know our center, we know our radius. Now the only thing left to do is just plot it out. So we go to our center at 4, negative 2. It's going to be this piece right here. And we say that our radius is 2. So we can count from there 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So these points are going to lie on our circle. And the only thing left to do is just connect those points. So we would say our circle comes around like that. So pretty quick, easy way to graph a circle, finding the center, finding the radius, and just connecting the points. So remember, it's easiest just to go from your center, go left the radius amounts, go right the radius amounts, go up the radius amounts, and go down the radius amounts. Find those points and just draw a circle around them. Here we have an equation not in standard form, so it's not written in our form x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. That's the form we're looking for. Now, one thing to notice is this is a square binomial, and this is also a square binomial. So this is where our completing the square skills are going to come back. So down here you can see we have a little extra help here on what to do to complete the square. So let's say our equation is x squared plus y squared plus 8x minus 6y equals 0. Now in this case we don't have any extra constants on this side of our equation, but sometimes you might. So the first thing you want to do is make sure to get any constants over to this side of the equal sign. So you just subtract them over, bring them over to this side. In this case, we'll just say all of our constants add up to 0. So we're done with step 1 here, which was just get the constants on the other side, get the variables on the left side. Now we just group the x's together and group the y's together. So we'll say x squared plus 8x is one piece. Over here we have y squared minus 6y is one piece, and it all equals 0 still, or equals our constant values. Now remember, when completing the square, we need to be looking for those square values. So let's put parentheses around this, put our plus sign in between here, parentheses around this one as well, our y values. And remember, we need to add something to each of these. So plus something in here, plus something in here, to create a perfect square trinomial that we can bring down to a perfect square binomial, these pieces over here. Now whatever we add in these pieces, right here and right here, we'll also have to add over here and over here. So I'm going to put a little blue arrow here and a red arrow here so we know where each piece is coming from. So remember, to find those pieces, those missing spots, it's just 1/2 b squared. So looking at our x's, our b value is 8. So we'd say 1/2 of 8 equals 4. 4 squared equals 16. So 16 is the value that goes in here. So 16 is the value that goes right here. Now, moving on to our y's, we need to take 1/2 of our b value, which is -6. So that's going to be -3. Now, -3 squared is 9. So 9 is the value that needs to go right here. So 9 is also the value that needs to go right here. Now, we've created two perfect square trinomials that we can break into perfect square binomials. Let's scroll this down and give us a little more space. X squared plus 8x plus 16, that's the same as saying x plus 4 squared. If we were to factor this piece down, we would get this. And remember, that's just from our completing the squares functions. And the piece over here, y squared minus 6y plus 9, that's the same as y minus 3 squared. And it's easy to know what these values are because here's your -3 or your -3 and it's right there. Here's your 4 and it goes right there. So that's where those values are coming from then. Then we just set it equal to 0 plus 16 plus 9 comes out to 25. So now here is our equation in standard form. X plus 4 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 25, which in that case means that our, I'm going to give us a little more room again to work. Our center would be found at -4, because this is the same as saying x minus -4 squared. So our center is at -4, 3 from this piece. 25 is the same as 5 squared. So our radius equals 5. So now we just need to plot those points. Center at -4, 3. Find our radius by counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over to the left, 5 to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 up, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. So that's our points. Now we just connect all of our points. And we have graphed our circle. So that's how it goes. Any questions? Make sure you're asking those. Otherwise, stay golden.